That's such a minor joke in this. So if you could adapt any Shakespeare play into a DCOM, what one would you do?
King Lear.
I don't remember. I didn't read
Okay,
King Lear.
King Lear is like the king has 3 daughters, and he's like, "Daughters, do you love me?" And the first 2 are like, "Yeah, Dad, we love you so much," because they like want his money.
Mhm.
And then the third daughter's like, "No, Dad, I'm not gonna say I love you more than anything," or something like that. And he's like, "Well, fuck, I hate you now. I am gonna like go to the guy I was gonna marry you off and say, hey, I'm not giving the dowry anymore because this my daughter sucks."
So what sport would this be as a DCOM? Curling?
It's curling, and the dad's like, "You don't like me enough, daughter. I'm gonna trade you to this team for nothing."
See, I think I want 2 rival pickball leagues to have star-crossed lovers who eventually commit suicide together.
That's pretty dark for a decom.
Well, it's Romeo and Juliet, and that's the basic plot of every DCOM. High School Musical,
Sha
you ever hear about?
sha la la la.
This is going to be our, instead of let's watch Disney Channel movie, it's going to be sha la la la, sha la la la, sha la la la.
Sha la la la. Welcome, everybody, to the Decomp Duo podcast.
That was my co-host Kelsey,
Oh, and that's my co-host Ben.
and we're the DCOM
We're
duo.
the Decomp Duo.
We introduced each other.
Wow, how
Whoa,
wacky are we?
crazy!
No podcast has ever done that before.
Not a single time. So what we do here is we talk about Disney Channel original movies.
Just in case you're new.
Which, hey, someone might be. There's motocross fans out there somewhere.
They're like, whoa, Camp Rock, never heard of it. Motocross? Hell yeah.
Nah, they're just gonna be people looking on Spotify for like, man, what's a good song to listen to while I'm doing some motocross?
And the answer is sha la la la.
Kelsey's real into this. We'll get to it, but it's like just like a minor scene. Yeah, we watched motocross, which when we spun it on the wheel at the end of every episode, we spin what our next decom's going to be, and we were excited to rewatch it. And let me say, it did not disappoint.
No, it holds up.
It's better than I remember. Well, I think we underrated it before. It's pretty fun.
It's fun. We liked it the first time too.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for a sports movie. I'm also a sucker for movies that are both bad and good at the same time.
Yeah.
And this movie's definitely bad and good.
Yeah.
There's some aspects that are like actually well done and some more aspects that are actually bad, but in a fun way.
Right, but I feel like it's less so that we're making fun of it, at least compared to other movies.
Well, I feel like a lot of the writing is not that good.
Yeah, but like there is a lot of actual enjoyment watching this movie, which is surprising.
It gets a recommendation from me.
Yeah.
This was a fun one.
It's a fun movie, which is, it's weird because a lot of other decoms in that era are just like boring or bad. And this one's actually pretty good.
I believe we have no fan mail today.
Yeah, we're recording this before our last episode has released, so if you had thoughts on what movie did we watch?
Ready to Run.
Ready to Run. If you had thoughts on Ready to Run, sorry.
Still send them in.
Send it in. We haven't seen it yet. We can get you on the next one.
Literally any decom covered yet or not covered or not planned to be covered for a while, send it in. We'd love to read it. We can save it for whenever that episode actually happens. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, email
us at thedecomduo@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Or any of the other ways you can. You can figure it out. I believe in you.
Yeah, we did have one like 4 long TikTok comment on our Cadet Kelly TikTok about how like what's her name, the friend needs to calm down about having a best and truest friend.
Which is so true.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So even if you like just want to comment on our TikToks, we love reading those.
We appreciate any feedback people have. If people are listening in, we enjoy that, but we also like hearing from you. It makes our day. Yeah. So do it.
Hooray. Should we talk about motocross?
I think we should talk about the 2001 Disney Channel original movie classic Motocross.
Motocross. All right, time for the DCOM Duo Factos.
DCOM Duo Factos.
Motocross was released February 16th, 2001, right after Valentine's Day.
Romantic. They probably should have put it like a week before and had it be kind of a Valentine's special. It's a romance movie,
It's like
very
not
slightly.
super romantic. It's the romance is like a C plot.
Yeah, but it's there, and that's like what the Shakespeare adaptation is of it.
Yeah. This was the 26th DCOM.
Yeah. It's before they got the exact formula down, but they're close to it.
Yeah. Our director is Steve Boyum. We have heard that name before.
Steve Boyum.
Yeah, you remember what movie he directed that we covered?
No.
It was Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire.
Ah,
It was
the
our
very first episode.
Yep. He also has directed Johnny Tsunami and Stepsister from Planet Weird.
Honestly, it's a pretty good lineup.
Honestly, yeah, all four of these movies are good.
Like
They
are better than passable.
Yeah.
Which like passable for us, I think, is mid C tier.
Yeah, so good for you, Steve Boyum, for making some pretty good DCOMs.
Yeah, you knew what you were doing, more or less.
All right, let's go into our cast. Our main character, Andrea Carson, is played by Alana Austin. She, of course, was in the movie Pop Star starring Aaron Carter.
Classic. That is a movie. If we ever do bonus episodes,
that would be a good one.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
Not Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping, which I do still really want to watch because I've heard great things about
it's not that one. It's Pop Star starring Aaron Carter. Rest in peace, Aaron Carter.
Rest in peace.
I don't remember what episode that was.
It may have been Mom's Got a Date. No, I think he was still alive at that point. Yeah, but
I think it was Starstruck.
I think it was.
Because that was about a pop star. Yeah. And so we're like, oh yeah, like Aaron Carter was a pop star.
Oh, yeah, because they definitely were trying to remake the Aaron Carter experience.
So Aaron Carter was in a movie called Pop Star, which is very low quality. We did watch it. I was about to say we never actually watched it, but we did. We watched it though. It was a good time. Yeah, it was a good time. We watched it though because Brutal Moose, he's a YouTuber. He made a video about it and how crazy it is. Iconic. Yeah, it's iconic. So Alana Austin stars in this movie as the main love interest to Aaron Carter. And
she has this kind of a similar delivery in both, where it's just like sometimes she does good lines and sometimes she does bad lines in a funny way.
I feel like she does so much better in this movie though than she does in Pop Star.
I don't think she's that good of an actress, but she's a good child actor for like campy, like good times.
Yeah.
She's an actress I really appreciate in the roles that I've seen her in, because when she's bad, she's not always bad. But when she has like a bad line, it's a funny bad line. Yeah. It's never like I'm not believing this bad line. It's like you're trying too hard, which is way funnier.
I think one of the main reasons I don't like her performance in Pop Star as much is because they put these like giant fake braces on her.
It makes her just like speak weird.
It's so weird. Anyway, one of the best lines in Pop Star is, "What can I say? I'm a pop star."
We probably have said that on the podcast.
So what? I'm a pop star.
We say it all the time.
I'm a pop star.
So what? I had an accident.
I had an accident. No, you had an accident because she was scared to drive. So what? You had an accident. Watch that movie if you want to laugh.
It's a good time. It was on HBO when we were there, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's dropped now.
I don't know.
It's worth a watch if you like DCOMs. It is a high quality bad DCOM.
Yeah.
Without being a DCOM.
Okay. So she really hasn't done much. Alana Austin has not acted since 2006. But there are two movies I saw that I found funny.
What movies?
Motocrossed Kids.
They made a kids version of this movie?
No, it's a separate movie, just also about motocross.
Maybe she had actual like dirt biking skills.
She was also in the movie Supercross, which is also about motocross.
What the hell? Yeah, I'm guessing she must actually be a motocross.
Okay, so Motocrossed Kids, I kind of read the synopsis. She's like, she does do motocross, and her dad is her coach, and they have to like save
Either that or
Um,
she's extremely
like a
typecasted.
skate park, but for motocrossing. What's that called? Like a motocross park. They have to save it, I guess. I don't know. And then Supercross, apparently she just plays like a guy's girlfriend.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just thought it was hilarious that she's in 3 movies about
That
motocrossing.
that is quite funny.
Yeah. All right. Andrew Carson, her brother, is played by Trevor O'Brien. He apparently was in Dodgeball, a true underdog story.
Hmm.
He plays Derek.
I like Dodgeball. I can't remember the character names well enough.
Yeah, I don't know
I feel
specifically
like
who
he
it
may have
is.
been on the evil team.
I don't think so from like the picture I saw
Okay, he
on
was on.
Google. I think he might have like worked at the gym or something. I don't know. I didn't like look deep into
Was
it.
he
I don't
wearing
think
purple or red?
no, neither.
Oh,
It wasn't like during their competition scenes, or at least the screenshot I saw. I don't know. I don't think it's a big role.
gotcha.
He was also in one episode of Grey's Anatomy, so good for you, dude. So many people are in like one episode of Grey's
I mean, it's
Anatomy.
basically a primetime soap opera. I mean, it is a primetime soap opera. I don't need to put the word basically in there. Grey's Anatomy is a soap opera. Fight
Mm.
me on that.
Okay. Dean Talon is played by Riley Smith. Lately, like this is a pretty recent show. He's in a show called Nancy Drew.
Oh,
So, okay.
cool.
Apparently, he was also in Bring It On, the movie, just as male cheerleader. Like that's what he was.
Sure.
That was his role. So he was a male cheerleader in Bring It On. And then just like a bunch of small roles. So Jason Carson is played by Scott Terra, and he doesn't really have anything to note. He hasn't acted since 2010. So the mom is played by Mary Margaret Humes. Apparently she was in Dawson's Creek as a title character's mother.
Okay.
So like, okay.
That's probably a pretty big role.
She's done like a ton of TV movies. Obviously, I've never heard of
I felt
them.
like I had seen her face before, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest. Like she had a familiar looking face without actually knowing her.
Yeah. And she won Miss Florida USA and was the third runner up in 1975 for Miss USA.
Good for her.
Yeah. Our dad is played by Timothy Carhart. He's actually had some roles, kind of, I think. I don't know. He's credited for Yellowstone.
Okay, that's a big show
Yeah,
now.
but he's A.G. Stewart in that. I've never watched
I haven't watched
Yellowstone,
Yellowstone, but
but
people love Yellowstone.
yeah, all you fans of Yellowstone out there, he's A.G. Stewart, if that means anything to you. Apparently, he was in Thelma and Louise. He was in The Hunt for Red October,
Okay.
and he was in Ghostbusters as a violinist.
Ooh, it's fancy.
Heck yeah. Rene Cartier. He's
French dude.
the French guy is played by Michael Cuneo. He hasn't really done much acting like at all. He's
Hmm.
really a singer. Like since motocross pretty much, I think he had one more acting credit and then he's had like a music career. And I was trying so hard to see if he's actually from France because I wanted to know. And from what I could find, I'm pretty sure he's from Seattle.
Fair enough. He could just put on a French accent. They
Yeah,
didn't need to cast a French person for that role.
he's not French. Okay. Farron Henderson is played by Catherine Ellis. She hasn't acted since 2009, but she was in 62 episodes of Days of Our Lives.
Do you remember her?
No, because it was 1998 to 1999. I was born in 1998, so
She must have. Oh, wait, no, I guess this movie came out in 2001.
yeah.
That's not.
No,
So
that's
she was
not
just like
weird.
a teenager on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she played, I do recognize the character though. She played Taylor Walker, who is Nicole's sister. Nicole's like a huge character on Days of Our Lives. Taylor Walker came back later, the character did,
Yeah.
while I was watching it, a different actress, but
Mhm.
like cool. She
'Cause it's
played
a
a
soap
character.
opera.
Yeah, she played a character I've heard of. That's cool. And finally, I put down that Bob Arness is played by Mark Curie because he was in The Booth Point, which we've already covered.
I wonder if this director had any connection to Days of Our Life because she was on Days of Our Life and also the vampire and Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire was on Days of Our Life.
Maybe he's like, I gotta get my Days actors out here.
Just had like a talent scout he knew who also worked for Days. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you got
Right.
any fun
I
facts?
do actually have fun facts. So this movie, of course, is based on Shakespeare's The Twelfth Night. About I've never actually read The Twelfth Night, but it's about like, the girl pretends to be a guy, right? And
Yeah.
stuff happens. I don't
I
know.
don't know too much about it. I know it's that. I know also she's the man.
Right, okay. So that's one of my fun facts. In I think it was IMDb, it said that She's the Man was like inspired
By
by
motocross.
Motocross, which Motocross did come out first.
That makes enough sense. They're like, oh, doing a 12th night but modern could work.
Yeah. So apparently they took the inspiration that like she was pretending to be her twin brother instead of just a random guy. The like sports aspect of it that she
Mhm.
like wants to play sports with the guys or has to prove herself, so she's pretending to be her brother. Like those aren't 12th night specific things. Those are like originated in motocross. So She's the Man took those aspects of the
Gotcha.
story.
No, first off, why didn't we do factos on Shakespeare? He wrote the movie. Um, but I'm a fan of Shakespeare generically without having read much of his stuff, but I liked most of what I have read.
Yeah,
I'm not going to go and read more.
I like watching the translated version because then I can actually digest what's happening.
And
And I've liked the plays I've read.
so, yeah, I feel like just DCOMs being Shakespeare is actually it's an opportunity. I like remakes in a modern
Yeah.
retelling with like just loosely based. I feel like that's fun.
Where's Hamlet? That's another one I've read.
They did that for Lion King though.
Yeah, do it for the decom.
And they did like another like 19th century play for Let It Shine.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
So that one I don't think was Shakespeare,
I
but
don't think so. We'll cover that
we'll
when
cover
we
that whenever we get
get
to
to
Let
Let It
It
Shine.
Shine.
Yeah. Um, more fun facts. So motocross was featured in Miss Mojo's top 10 decoms of the 2000s.
Whoa,
Wow. So
huge.
if you're looking
Do
at
you know what
decoms,
number it was?
no, I didn't watch. I didn't watch the video. But if you're looking for like the best decoms of the 2000s, motocross, let's go.
Check it out.
And finally, Alana Austin, who plays Andrea, was actually forced to cut her hair for the movie. She thought she was gonna wear a wig. Nope, they like made her actually cut her hair.
That's
So
sad that she didn't realize it was gonna be that, but I think it's absolutely the right call to cut the hair.
I mean, it
Oh,
looks good.
yeah.
Like, it looks better than if they had a wig.
I think a wig the whole time would have been difficult because the vast majority of the movie is short hair. It's only
Yeah.
like the first 10 minutes that are long.
Yeah. Um, Especially since her brother has such short hair. Like, and She's the Man, the brother has shaggier hair, so it's easier to slap
Mhm.
a wig on Amanda Bynes. And also the reveal of like her pulling off the wig and her hair is long and she's like, I'm a girl. That was actually a pretty good moment. But in motocross, just kind of like, yeah, she's a girl. Yeah, it's because this is her brother. Yeah. All right, Disney Plus description time.
Whoop, whoop.
Andy and her twin brother Andrew both love motocross racing, but their dad thinks it's too dangerous for girls and would rather see Andy cheerleading. When Andrew is injured during a practice run against his sister, their dad heads to Europe looking for a replacement rider. Blaming herself, Andy disguises herself as her twin brother to compete in a big motocross race.
Mostly true. I don't think the cheerleading has nearly as big of an impact.
Literally was gonna say that because when we first read the description again before rewatching the movie, I was like, "Is she a cheerleader?" And she is. In the beginning of the movie, she's a cheerleader, but then it's like brought up
It's
one
dropped.
other
It's
time.
dropped like 5 minutes into the movie. And yeah, it's
Yeah,
brought up like one more time,
because
which
like,
should probably be mentioned more.
well, the cheerleading season's over.
But she's also like, yeah, I'm a top athlete. Cheerleading is a dangerous sport. It's one of the most dangerous sports.
Because they're being thrown around the
Yeah.
air and shit. Yeah, well, they make it sound like, oh, Andy, stick to cheerleading, which her dad like never brings.
Her
up
dad
to
doesn't care that she cheerleads.
No,
'cause her
literally, he
dad's
doesn't care.
terrible.
Yeah, the dad doesn't care at all. So that's weird, Disney Plus. Come on, when are you gonna hire us to write your decom descriptions?
We'll do it for cheap.
We'll
I'm not
do it
gonna
for
say
cheap.
free.
We'll do
I
it for
won't do
cheap.
it for free.
No. All right, you ready to dive in?
Let's deep dive to this decom.
Yeah, let's deep dive into the dirt because it's
Motocross.
motocross.
Dirt bike racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we open up Disney Channel original
No, no,
movie.
no, no.
But yeah, there's like super hardcore like rock music, right? Because it's like dirt bikes,
Yeah, if you ever
yeah,
seen the X Games, that's the vibe they're going for.
yeah,
Yeah,
motocross flashes on the screen, and there's a bunch of motocross happening, and also cheerleading is happening. This
yeah,
is the one time we see the cheerleading.
yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised they spent the budget to film that. It's
Yeah,
like
and
three
like
seconds.
choreograph it
Yeah,
because it is Andrea, that's the character. Alana is the actress. She is actually like doing a
yeah,
routine. She's not being thrown around, but she's like doing a cheerleading routine. Um, okay, so we see Andrew is the one on the motocross bike, and the dad is timing him, and Andrew's like, that felt pretty fast. And dad's like, pretty fast isn't gonna do it, Andrew.
yeah. So the dad is a terrible father
Yeah.
throughout the whole movie,
Yeah.
and
Does he redeem himself? Not enough for me.
we'll talk about it. I I was in the mood for this and going into this movie, so I like the unambiguous asshole parent
Yeah.
figure who is just so bad, but in a way that is so comical because it's not realistically bad.
I think it's honestly fine because he's gone most of the
Yeah.
movie. So it's like more
And
digestible
he's not there for the most of the movie, so they have to really hammer it home at the beginning, like, oh, he will do say no to this because he's mean.
because he's a dick. So Andy comes home with the cheerleading trophy, like her team won, and Andrew wipes out on his bike, and he like brushes off though, he's fine. And he's like really supportive of Andy's trophy. He's like, well, let me check it out. And the dad's like, hey, no, there's no time for that. Like, you just being a dick.
Yep.
And Andrew's like, come on, dad, I just want to take a break and like
And
support my sister. And he's like, no.
yeah. Basically, not only does the dad, the first thing that he says is like, "Can we do this some other time?" He doesn't celebrate the trophy win at all for
No.
his daughter
Yeah.
winning over 100 schools, she said.
Yeah. Like she
Oh,
won the championship in cheerleading. And he's
she get
like,
he gets
be a
mad that the
train.
brothers like congratulating her.
Yeah.
Something I like about this movie, this is a kind of strange point to like point it out, but I feel like the sibling relationships in this movie are good
They are
and
really
decently
good.
realistic. Like
Sibling drama is not a plot point in this movie, and it's refreshing.
it's really refreshing because a lot of siblings like they don't agree with each other on everything. Like these siblings absolutely don't agree with each other on everything, but they like each
They
other
like each other, they support each other.
and they hope each other does well, which
Yeah.
is very realistic to me at least about sibling relationships.
Yeah.
I like to see that, and that's something that too many films about families will make the siblings unrealistic by having them be too big of rivals.
Yeah.
Sibling rivalry is something harder to get right than writers think it is, I feel.
Yeah.
Um,
Honestly, like y'all ever have a sibling? Like how often is it that you just hate your sibling? Like I feel like it's not that common. I feel like most siblings actually like each other, you know?
yeah, at least to an extent. Like you don't not
Yeah.
they're not usually not
Obviously
best
you're gonna
friends.
like
There's
bicker and
stuff.
stuff,
There's
but
stuff like about it, but these siblings actually feel whenever it's just a sibling talking to a sibling, I think that's when this movie is at its genuine best
mhm.
because I feel like all the three actors for the three kids here understood their characters' relationships to each other pretty well.
Yeah.
And they're fun to watch and fun to see them talk.
Yeah. So, anyway, back to the dad being a dick. He's like, hey guys, we can't take a break from training for a minute because we need to win this championship to get the sponsorship, to get money. Like,
Yeah.
he's putting all of the pressure on Andrew
We
winning this
learn later
motocross
on
race.
basically um he quit his job
Yeah.
to run a motocross team.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of like a company,
Yeah.
but they're not
And
big. They're just like
they're
one
family owned right
kid.
now, but they're like, I know enough about motocross, we can do this.
Yeah.
Which I don't know the finances of everything here, but that seems like a risky decision, especially to put all that pressure on your son.
Yeah. To like financially support his family.
Yep.
Like, I feel like nobody asked him to do this, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I feel like this is the dad just vicariously trying to live through his son.
Yeah, because we learn pretty soon that this is a dream of his, basically, to
Yeah,
ride.
because he grew up racing,
Yeah.
and now his kids are super into it too. Okay, anyway, we also get to meet Jason, who's the little brother, and he does a lot of like mechanic stuff. So
his big character like role in the story is he likes taking stuff apart and putting it back together.
Yep.
The other two kids are very into riding the bikes. He's much more interested in the mechanical side.
Yeah.
I think he likes riding. We see him riding at one point.
We do?
It's like a one point.
Oh, well, he really
But it's
likes
really he just likes
mechanic stuff. Yeah.
putting stuff together. He's going to be a good engineer when he's grown
Yeah.
up. He has a lot of experience.
For sure. Okay, so then at dinner, both of the other kids are like, "You're doing really great today, Andrew." Like they're being supportive siblings, like we were talking about. And the dad is like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this every single day." And Andrew's like, "Every single day?" And the dad's like, "Well, yeah, well, I'm not trying to force you, but I'm just saying that like when I was a kid, my dad had to drag me out to
Like,
stop."
yeah, I wanted to do it all the time, so therefore you want to do it.
Yeah, so I'm not going to tell you what to do, but also we're going to do this every single
This
day.
movie sets up for an ice princess moment.
Hell yeah. It's not my dream.
It's
Mom,
yours.
Dad, it's yours. That never happens because Andrew gets injured.
Yeah.
Okay. So that night the twins are talking, whatever. The mom comes in and tells them that their dad is going to go into the city tomorrow. And her. So they're both of the parents are going to be gone, and the twins are really excited because the next day they're like, "Let's motocross
Let's just
race."
go race.
Yeah, let's
That'll
go
be
race.
fun.
Because since their parents are gone, Andy, who's I'm gonna call Andrea Andy because that's how she goes most of the movie. I'm always gonna call the boy Andrew.
Andrew.
Just so we're clear.
Yeah, they did the classic. Oh, we had twins. We only had one name picked out. Let's just do two names that sound the exact same.
Literally Andrew and Andrea, and they can both go by Andy. It
Which
makes
they
you,
have to
it
do
makes
for
you want to
plot
throw
convenience.
up. Honestly, yeah, because they do the conclusion of this movie in 5 minutes, so we can't have the plot point of she was like fraud that she was going under her brother's name. Since they basically have the same name, they were able to just skip over that. Yeah. So okay. Since the parents are gone, Andy can like ride on the bike and they won't get in trouble. And Jason's like, "What the heck? Dad is gonna freak out if he finds out." And they're like, "Then don't tell him." And Jason's like, "Okay."
Jason literally comes up. It's like, I'm not gonna tell him.
Like, yeah, I won't tell him. It's fine. Okay, so then they race, and as they're racing, which all of the like race sequences I don't really care about. Like, if you want to watch some people ride on motocross bikes,
there's better options in this movie to watch.
No, there's not. This is your only option. So they race, and then Andrew gets hurt. He like crashes into a fence, and it's pretty bad. So then we cut to the hospital, and Andrew comes out with crutches, but they say luckily his leg isn't broken.
Yeah, Kelsey had to delete a line in her notes.
I literally was typing out he broke his leg, and then he said luckily the leg isn't broken. I had a backspace like, oh yeah, his leg is not broken.
He got injured real bad, which honestly the way that it was set up, this whole race sequence, because it was all about her saying, "Oh, my boots don't fit. That's why I'm like losing the race." It sounds like she's gonna like mess up and then he's gonna fall. But no, that's not really what happens.
No, they just needed to establish the boot thing for a gag later. Yeah.
But yeah, she is preparing to be in a world of hurt because she injured the golden boy.
Well, she didn't do it on purpose.
Well, do you think the dad's gonna believe that?
I literally wrote the dad definitely blames Andy, so I don't think he says it outright, but I wrote down that he definitely does. The dad is like, "Andrea, racing is too dangerous. This is why I don't want you racing. Like, it's your fault, Andrea. What the heck?" And Andrew, at one point too, he's like, "You said you wanted me to practice," and the dad's like, "Under my supervision," as if it like couldn't have happened if the dad was watching.
Obviously not, because the dad's perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so then cut to Andy painting her nails just bright lime green. It comes back.
It comes back multiple times.
Yeah, but what a choice of color. I mean, she's bold.
It stands out.
Yeah.
That's my brother just got injured and I feel guilty about it. Color.
Lime green. So the dad is getting ready to leave to Europe, and he literally hasn't told his kids. He's like about to leave for the airport right now to go to Europe, and the kids are like, "What are you doing?
Huh? What?
Like, why wouldn't you tell your kids this?"
I mean, he probably decided an hour ago.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, you should have told because they're going to be out of a father for a while. But it's summer. The mom stays home.
apparently they neither of the parents work.
Yeah,
Um,
they must have a nice inheritance because they got a good place with a lot of like square
yeah.
footage and multiple dirt bikes, and the ability to repair them.
Yeah, they can like pay for parts and stuff.
I don't
Like,
know.
I don't know. So the dad is leaving to Europe to like recruit in the European circuit.
Because again, his entire livelihood depends on this circuit coming up of
Yeah, this like
races, and they need a
championship.
racer. And Andy goes, "Well, I can race.
Yeah, Andy's like, why can't I race? And the dad says, this isn't a joke, Andrea.
Can you? Do you have the specific line pulled up?"
Um, yeah, I do. But first, like Andrew's like, nah, she rips though. And the dad's like, but this is the pros. And then he goes, Andrea, I realize this is partially my fault for letting you ride as long as I did. And for the life of me, I can't figure out what I was thinking.
It's so unbelievably sexist. Basically, his entire idea is, oh, Andrew can do this because he's a guy, but Andy cannot because she's a girl and she'll get hurt.
Yeah. It's
What?
partially, he's like, "Ugh, it's partially my fault, but like, what was I
I
thinking?
was too open minded.
Be more close minded.
That would have made everything better if I just said, go play with your Barbies.
Yeah, he says, quote, I want you to concentrate on things 15-year-old girls should concentrate on.
Like getting married, cooking for your
Learning
husband,
how to clean the house and do laundry.
have children.
Okay, so then he goes over to the two boys and he essentially it's like, goodbye, sons, I love you. He's like, oh, Jason, remember not to take everything apart in the house, and bye, Andrew. And then he goes to Andrea and he goes, Andrea, don't you dare think about riding a fucking
It's
bike.
like anything that has two wheels and a motor,
Stay away.
restraining order.
Bye, sons. I love you so much. Daughter, don't you dare get on a fucking bike, I swear to God. And that's how he says goodbye to his kids.
Yeah, it is again. They make a very short amount of time in this beginning to just make it so clear that he's in the wrong, and it's very funny to me because it's so over the top.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Okay, so now it's a new day. Andy gets the mail and she's really excited about it. And she grabs the phone. And everyone comes in because she's like screaming that she's so excited. And she's like, what? And like, you were screaming. And she's like, my NSYNC tickets came in. And everyone's like, oh, okay. She
This is
got
where we get the first hearing of the world record run, by the way, for Jason. Yeah.
what?
So a small, very minor plot in the whole movie is the youngest brother. His name's Jason,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. He's always trying to like do a world record pace like repair of the bike.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you interrupted my world record pace." And I just imagine him like speed running this and like trying to do all these strats to go quicker, and it's very
Do you
funny
think
to
he
me.
has like the cup stack timer where he puts his hands
Yeah,
down?
he's very into fixing things and doing it quick.
Yeah. Anyway, Andy has fifth row tickets to the NSYNC concert.
Pretty good. Those probably cost a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, maybe she like won them or something. Or maybe her parents are just hella rich somehow, even though they don't work.
Yeah, maybe the parents died and left them a ton of money.
Yeah.
Said, "Follow your dreams, kid."
Anyway, then mom goes like, "Oh, honey, I need the phone. Like, can call you." Oh, because Andy's on the phone with her friend. Like, "Oh, we're going to the concert, whatever." Um. So then Andrew shows Andy the mail that the like cup that the circuit whatever that they're entered into. They moved the series up by 2 weeks. The first race is this Friday, and if you miss the first race, you're out of the cup.
This is insane to me.
Yeah. They're like, "Hey, we have to push up this tournament by 2 weeks. And you have no choice, you have to do it."
Yeah, if you don't do it, if
You're
you had
out.
any other plans, if you had any like things, if you're getting a rider from another country to fly in,
Too bad.
too bad. You just are completely disqualified. What?
Yeah, so the dad thought he had 2 weeks to spend in Europe.
Yeah,
He
he's
did
doing a
not.
little vacay.
He did not. Because the tournament really fucked him over.
Yep.
So the mom's trying to call the dad, but she can't because he already left the first hotel
This
that he was
is a
staying at.
well, there's cell phones, but it's pretty like international calling cell phones.
I mean, it's 2001, so I would believe he doesn't have a cell phone.
Well, she has a cell phone. The mom does.
She was using the landline, I thought.
But at that point, she is. But she has a cell phone. We see her
Oh.
use it later.
Maybe the dad doesn't have a cell phone. Or yeah, since he's in Europe, he's not using his cell phone. She tried to call the hotel, but he left already. He's probably going to multiple
And
hotels.
they don't know what his next hotel is going to be.
Yeah.
I think he's doing this on the fly.
They're like, can we mail something to him? And she's like, I wouldn't even know where to mail it. So they just literally
They're just like, well, we can't talk to him.
We have to wait for him to call us, basically. So Andy and Andrew are freaking out about it. And Andy's like, I have to fix things since this is my fault. Like, Dad quit his job for this and everything. And then Andy asks Andrew if he thinks that she can do this. Like, if he thinks that she can race. And he goes, yeah, of course I think you can do it. But, like, those guys are going to tear you apart because you're a girl.
Yeah. And this is another thing where it's like, he's not being mean. He's like, no, you're a good enough racer. You're definitely good enough. But it's just men be men and men are sexist.
Yeah.
Haven't you seen our father?
He never once doubts her skills or is jealous of her riding or anything. Great. He's great. He's just like, men are going to be dicks to you because you're a girl. Like, I can't change that, you know? Mm-hmm. So then Andy, like, pulls up to some, like, casual motocross track or something. And there's a bunch of guys there. Which, by the way, these guys look so much older than her. They look like they're in their late 20s.
Yeah, they do.
Like, it's
maybe they're supposed to be, because I don't...
I mean, it's just like a casual track.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So they, like, see that there's a girl here on a bike.
And they're like, who's the chick?
Oh, who's the chick? And let's race. And so they race, and then Andy gets knocked off her bike by one of the dicks, and one of the guys shakes his head and goes, chicks.
Yeah, so they just bat her off the course.
Yeah. Which, are guys really that mean? Just like, oh yeah, there's a girl here, let's fucking injure her.
Probably not, but there's definitely a testosterone level of being shown up by a girl in your male sport.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's men, like, gender differences are first off something that's like weird to talk about, especially as a society where I'm personally of the belief that gender is just a stupid division really to think about in a lot of ways. Sports is one of the rare places where it does make sense, because in a lot of sports, men are just at a significantly higher advantage because of the additional testosterone.
On average, yeah.
Yeah. That's just how the bodies work. And that's why there's gender divisions in that.
Yeah.
Motocross is a sport where I'm guessing at the highest of levels, there would be a difference, but at like this level where they're more
probably
younger,
not.
There's probably not that big of a difference because it's mainly controlling a motorized vehicle.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it is like physical strength.
Well, I think there's like jumping and stuff that you got to do where you are going to have to push your body in certain ways. Well, but it's definitely a much more gender balanced sport.
This is kind of similar to what we were talking about in our last episode with jockeying, where it's like, wouldn't being lighter help you? You think?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I don't know.
It's kind of weird.
Regardless, just if you're a guy and you're getting shown up by a girl, like, in theory, the brain goes like, man, I'm upset about that even more because I should have the advantage.
Because of my fragile masculinity.
Yes. And this is 2001. Fragile masculinity is nearing its peak.
Yeah. Okay, so Andy gets home to the garage, and Jason comes in wanting to help with the bike. Like, whatever. Jason's like, I'm a mechanic. And then Andy sneaks in the house, and the mom sees her coming in, and she has to hide like her motocross clothes behind her back. Because the mom
knows that the dad doesn't want her to ride on the motorbikes at all.
And she doesn't really want Andy to do it either.
Yeah.
At this point. So she's like, oh, I'm just donating the clothes behind my back to the poor and unfortunate.
Yep. And the mom sees that it's the motocross outfit, by the way. She just doesn't say anything.
Yeah, so then at dinner, they're all still like stressing about the whole situation, and the mom sees the bruise on Andy's arm, and she calls her out for motocross racing. So then we cut to the bathroom, and Andrew is like helping fix Andy up because she's all bruised and beaten. And Andrew is just like, yeah, unfortunately, like, it is because you're a girl. Like, they're gonna go extra hard on you. Like, yeah, it sucks, but this is how it is.
Society, am I right?
Yeah. Okay, so now it's a new day, and Mom and Andrew are going out shopping, and we're in a bike shop now, and we see Andrew in a bike shop, but guess what? It's not actually Andrew, it's Andy pretending to be
Is
Andrew.
that the first reveal we get?
Yeah,
Like, yeah. So
it was
basically,
like an overnight change.
yeah, she cut her hair,
Yeah,
she put on a backwards hat and sunglasses,
and a
and a
big hoodie.
yellow and blue sweatshirt.
Yeah, it's like a really oversized sweatshirt, which helps cover her boobs probably.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, that's the biggest thing you have to cover
yeah,
on the body.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah, she's like there, and the clerk's like, "Oh, you're here for your parts, Andrew?" And Annie's like, "Oh yeah, and also I wanted to look at the
well,
boots."
she's confused at first because she's like, I didn't get off a call with you.
Oh yeah, the clerk's like, "We were just on the phone."
This is like a 5 minute scene, and it's the entire time is the clerk just freaking out because it's a classic. You're seeing two people pretending to be one
Yeah,
person,
and they don't know that the other person's there.
and it's just trippy, but not trippy enough where it's actually believable that he wouldn't say, "No, something's up. This
Yeah.
has to be two people play the same."
Also, the store clerk's really stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like they're playing it for laughs. Um, okay. So Andy goes out to look at the boots and the real Andrew comes in and they're wearing the same fucking outfit.
which I want to know how they got the
How
same
did
outfit.
how do they have the same outfit? Assuming these are men's clothes, how does Andy
Does he
have
just have a second copy of this outfit?
did she see what he was wearing that day and was like,
Let's
I'll wear
do
the
it.
same thing, I
It's
guess.
funny. It's like a very specific outfit
Down
too.
to the sunglasses, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's really funny actually. The store clerk's like, "Whoa, man, you have crutches now? Like you were just here without
What
crutches."
happened? I'm tripping.
And then he's like, "Well, anyway, did you find the boots?" And Andrew's like, "What? No, I don't need boots. I'm just here for the parts that I ordered."
It's like, but you just said you're gonna look for boots.
Well, okay, whatever. And then Andrew goes to the bathroom, and the clerk has to like leave to go yell at some kids.
It's pretty funny. It's like a 1 second scene in here. He's like, "Hey kids, shouldn't you be in school?" And they go, "It's summer." Oh well, I think you need to learn to read. And points to the side and says, "Don't go on the bikes."
Doesn't it like if you ride it, you buy it or something? Like if you
Something.
sit on it, like it's like get out of here, kids. And then he comes back, and Andy is there. And the clerk's like, I've had it, man. Like, you're in crutches, you're not in crutches, you want boots, you don't want boots. Like, what is going on?
And don't forget, neither Andy nor Andrew know that the other's here
Yeah.
pretending to.
Well, then Andy sees her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she figures it out. But she runs off since the mom and Jason are coming into the store. And Andrew comes back out, and the clerk's like, all right, $500 is your total. And they're like, whoa, what the hell?
That's way too much.
And he's like, well, the boots were 300. And they're like, what? We're not getting boots. What the heck?
Besides, these aren't even your size.
Yeah, these aren't even your size, Andrew. Um, so Andrew kind of figures it out and he goes over to the dressing room and that's where he finds Andy. And they reveal that her hair is cut because she was like wearing a hood.
Yeah.
So we didn't see that she cut her hair at first, but yeah, now it's revealed she cut her
She
hair.
committed to the bit.
Yeah, she has the same hairstyle as Andrew now. And Andrew's like, this plan is not going to work. And like, Andy's like, why not? And he's like, well, when mom and dad find out, they're gonna like put a stop to it.
Yeah.
And
It's
Andy,
really a short-sighted plan, honestly.
yeah, and honestly, she really committed cutting that hair for a plan that probably wasn't gonna work.
It was a hardcore commit. Yeah.
Which I could not have just cut my hair like that to a buzz cut.
She
Like,
also cut it quite nicely, honestly.
well, she probably went to a salon.
I'm not convinced she did.
I'm pretty convinced she did. But good for her for not like having that emotional connection to your hair. Like I know a lot of girls probably
Yeah.
like it could be others, but mostly girls have like a connection to their hair where like having it cut or shaved off would be like the worst thing ever. I'm definitely like that. Like if I lost my hair, I would have a mental breakdown. So good for her for being like, yeah, I'm just gonna shave it. Like it's not a big deal. It's just hair. I'll grow back. Um, so Annie's like, well, mom and dad aren't going to find out. Right, Jason? And she looks right at Jason like, they're not going to find out, right? And Jason's like, what the hell? Why do you always look at me when you say
Jason's
that?
like, I literally would never tell on you. Like, what?
Because we saw earlier when they were out racing, Jason's like, I'm not gonna say anything. Like, why are you acting like I'm gonna say
Jason's
anything?
in on the shenanigans. He's not like the bratty. He's not like the other kids that you expect in this type of
No,
movie where
he's
the
just
youngest is
chill.
just like a tattletale and it's like, her, we don't like him. No, he's cool.
He's cool, and they're not
Jason's
giving him
fun.
enough credit. Okay, so then the mom sees like double in the mirror, and then Andy hides, and Jason covers for them because he's like, I'm cool. I'm with you guys. Okay. So then at home, the bros are watching motocrossing, and Andy comes out in like a robe and a hair towel to hide that, she cut her hair. And they still haven't had a call from dad. And Andy's like, oh yeah, so mom, so I'm gonna be out like really early tomorrow to go
Yeah,
like
like I'm gonna go to the
shopping.
mall
Yeah.
and it's gonna be so early, I'm not gonna be there when you arrive.
Yeah.
Or like when you wake up. So just let you know, don't go look for me.
Yeah. And the mom's like, where were you today? And she's like, oh, I was at the mall. And and
That's always a funny line to me because it's just like, you want to go to the mall again?
yeah, and Andrew's like, oh yeah, you should check out her new clothes. She's a whole new look. Just teasing her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's again, that's like the type of thing you would expect in an actual sibling relationship where it's just like making fun of something that the mom doesn't know about.
Yeah. Okay, so then in the garage, Jason is like struggling with his mechanic stuff. And then the mom comes over and she literally doesn't say anything. She just sits next to Jason, and Jason immediately caves.
Well, he gives like one like fake like he goes like, I don't know what's going on, and she just keeps looking at him.
And then he caves. Like, okay, so I guess Andy was justified in yelling at you, Jason. Like, he caved immediately. I was sticking up for you, Jason.
I mean, he didn't want to say it, and he wasn't going to get
Mom
away
didn't
from
even
it.
say anything.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, yep, they're up to something. So then we cut to Andy. This is the next morning. It's like super early. The store clerk is there from the bike store, and he delivered the new boots, and he's gonna like drive her to the tournament.
Mhm.
Yeah, but then the mom comes out to bust her. So then like the store clerk leaves. In the kitchen, the mom is lecturing Andy, and Andy goes, "Thanks a lot, Jason," which like he did spell, so
Yeah.
that's fair. This one's fair. Um, Andy leaves. Okay, now here's our favorite part of the
This
movie.
is this scene is what we remember most about this movie, and it probably will be here. When you have a 10-year-old kid mansplain sexism and it works.
So Jason he turns to his mom and he's like, "Mom, why won't you let Andy race?" And the mom goes, "Because girls don't race with boys." And Jason says, "But in school, we're learning about women's rights. And my teacher said that today there's no job that a woman can't do. Like, we've come so far as a society. So I don't understand, why can't Andy race if she's just as good as them?" And the mom's like, "Go do your chores."
And he's like, I already did. And he's like, go do this other shit.
Like, the son just turns to his mom and is like,
Are you being
"Are
sexist
you
right
racist?
now?
Didn't we fix sexism in society? Guess not, mom."
I'm sorry, are you a woman saying women can't do things?
Pretty lame, mom. Like, he solved
He
sexism.
solves sexism.
Um, okay, so then we see the mom like looking outside at Andy and her bike, and she's like considering it now, like, fuck, my son's right.
Man, women do have rights.
What the heck? Don't women have rights now, mom?
Yeah,
Um,
sexism has been solved.
yeah.
Good job, everybody. High fives all around.
So then the mom goes up to Andy and she's like, just tell me one thing. Are you doing this because you really want to do it, or because you feel like you have to because you're guilty? Like, you feel guilty about hurting your brother. And Andy's like, what answer will get me in the race?
Which is probably the wrong answer to say,
To
but
me,
it's kind of cute.
it's clear that like she really wants to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's also both.
Yeah. And she's like, I really
She
want to do
committed
it.
to the bit. She cut her hair.
Yeah. Like, obviously she's fucking committed. So the mom's like, all right, we can do it. So they leave for the race. And then he's like, why'd you change your mind? And the mom's like, you think I was going to let you save the family single-handedly and not share the glory? Okay.
Oh.
So then they get to the race. And we learn that the parents, when they first met, it was at a motocross race.
Yep. They talk about this
Ooh.
relationship like it's great, even though the whole movie we don't see it be great. The dad is so bad. The mom's cool. She's got
Cool.
nothing wrong with her.
Once her son mansplained sexism to her, she was cool.
She's a changed woman.
Yeah. So then Andy goes to check in, and a guy is there, and he's like, nice manicure, dude. And Andy's like, oh yeah, it helps me race or something. I don't know. This comes back later. So then Andy registers as like Andy with a Y, like a boy named Andy. And no one suspects anything.
Yeah.
Because she looks enough like her twin brother now.
Yeah. And also, no one here even really knows what Andy looks like, Andrew looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not here, you know?
Yeah.
Like, these are people, the first time he would be racing here.
Yeah, no one would definitely know him, at least personally enough. They might have seen him before, but they would just look at Andy and assume that's Andrew because they look similar enough. Their hair is the same now. Like, she's dressed like him.
Quick aside, I
Yeah.
feel like the dad, if he somehow got over his sexism and let his daughter race, that would be so good for his company to have two good riders that could potentially compete.
And twins. Like,
Yeah.
that's marketable.
Yeah. But no, he has to be sexist and just completely half his chances.
Is there a girls' league?
Probably.
Probably not, like, popular at all, though.
Yeah. Because sexism.
Yeah. So then Andy talks to someone who's like works for the company that's running the tournament.
The one that sponsors the factory that everyone's trying to get.
Yeah, well, the winner of this tournament like gets a sponsorship from this company. Yeah. And his name is Bob Arness, so this is the dad from Poof Point. Honestly, his role so does not matter at all in this movie. I don't even know why he's here.
Just to like reiterate the fact that this is a company that has people and they're looking for it, and someone who's investigating theoretically could catch on to the lie.
Yeah, but he never does.
No.
So whatever.
He's very irrelevant to this movie.
So then Andy talks to Andrew on the phone, and
maybe he's a character in Shakespeare.
Maybe.
We gotta remember this is a play.
Andrew and Jason are giving Andy advice over the phone. So Andrew and Jason are just home alone.
Yep.
While
Andrew
Andy
is looking over Jason.
Yeah. So then a girl comes up to the mom since the mom was like doing her nails just at their table.
It's the same nail set that Andy was doing her nails with, by the way.
Yeah, which is kind of funny. Like, why is the mom doing her nails here?
When she was registering, people were noticing her nails.
Right, but the mom is doing her nails right now.
Yeah.
Like, do they have just a shit ton of time? In between races? Like, maybe. I guess so.
It's very possible.
She's like, I'm gonna make my nail kit and paint my nails. It's something I would do. So then Andy's like, okay, mom, I'm gonna go race and don't come with me because it's not cool to have your mom there. All right, race time.
I'm a teenager. Did we mention what the lie that we use or she uses for having painted nails? Because people are calling her out.
She said it like helps
with arm pump, like helps the vibrations of the bike. It's a complete lie, but like she comes up with a reason for it.
Yeah.
And that's like a joke that keeps getting brought up throughout the movie.
Yep.
That it's just they keep doing throwaway lines on it.
Yep.
It's not that important.
It's just a little silly haha. All right, so that's the first race. We learn that the tournament is over the course of 3 weeks. And they're at the gates, and Andy starts too early, so her wheel gets stuck in the starting gate. So, they race and she's behind, and then she like basically gets lapped.
I think she gets lapped.
Yeah.
And the other competitors are mad because she's not getting out of the way for the leader, which is what the like
when you're getting lapped, you're supposed to move out of the way.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. So they get mad at her and she kind of wipes out a little bit and then she gets last place. So after the race, back at their like tent, there's a bunch of girls there to get their nails done. Because I guess every girl here needs their nails done.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's all these trophy girls who are just walking up.
Like, I want my nails done.
Let's get our nails painted. And it's just attracting all the girls to this table. It's like
Yeah,
10 of them.
it's pretty funny. So then there's these two guys from afar. One of them's Dean, which we meet him later. They're like, "Whoa, there's a bunch of chicks here," and like over at Andrew's tent, he didn't even win. Like he must be good with chicks.
Wow.
Wow. And also, Dean, we learn is really into the owner's daughter, or of the Henderson, which he races for Henderson's, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's really into the owner's daughter, but he has no game. And the other guy's like, maybe you should go talk to Carson over there because he has game.
Yeah, Andy is obviously so good at getting all the women, even though it's entirely the mom.
Yeah. Well, they don't know this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then another race starts and Andy wipes out and she didn't win. She got last again. And the mom's like, it's okay, honey. You did what you came to do.
Which I feel like she keeps saying this, and I don't like that.
That you did what you came to do, which she came to like place, mom. Or is it you're just supposed to bide your time in the tournament?
So that they don't have to cancel all the racing. I think that's what
Yeah.
the line was. But she came here because she also wanted to prove to herself that she could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not doing that right now.
Yeah. Andy's like super frustrated that she's not winning. And she watches another
We should also
race.
mention there's the same guy who keeps winning for these races. She's in the 125 division. I don't know what 125 and 250 mean, but they're the
It's
two
probably a
separate
bike
divisions.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um
Yeah, so there's a guy named Dean. He's winning all the other races. They're not in the same division.
yeah, but also the Dean's teammate is also winning all the 125 races.
Okay, so they're part of the Henderson
Yes, which is
Racing
like this
Club or whatever.
high tech, really talented team.
A lot of money, yeah.
Yeah. And throughout the whole movie, they're going to be winning all these races. I only keep mentioning this because remember, she got last in a lot of these races to begin with, and somehow she's going to end up
Winning.
winning
Well,
when the
I
other
think you
team
just have
isn't
to.
messing up.
She gets enough points to like make it to the championship, and then she wins that. So
Okay. I don't
it's
know
how
how
I think.
everything
I
works.
think that's how it works. Like she gets enough points to make it to the next race, or the next like
Yeah.
segment.
I don't know how these tournaments work.
Yeah.
There's many ways that it could. It just feels weird that it starts off bad and these matches do matter, but then she still can win.
Yeah. Okay, so Andy's trying to load up her bike and she's struggling. So then Dean comes over and helps her. And they talk about the nail polish thing. He's like, "Oh yeah, I heard about your nail polish. Like race secrets don't really stay secret very long."
And she goes, haha, don't tell
Uh-huh.
anyone I'm a girl.
She doesn't say that. And Dean's like, "Hey, don't take losing too hard. Like you're probably the best in your town, right? Well, every guy here is the best in their town. Like everyone's really good. So try not to take it too hard." And then some girls come by and say goodbye to Andy, like, bye, Andy. And Dean's like, what the fuck? Those women are in their 20s and they're talking to you? Like, you didn't even win. And Andy's just like, oh, yeah, I can, like, relate to girls. And then Dean's like, do you want to go, like, watch a race or something? And they leave, and the mom's like, ooh. Because the mom sees her with Dean is like, oh my gosh, a cute boy, even though her daughter's pretending to be a boy right now. We also see the mom's reading the rule book, so
Yeah. She's like, I'm gonna just keep reading my book.
yeah, and then she
I'm halfway through. It's really interesting, and it's a rule book.
yeah, like she hides the rule book inside of her real book. Like, why are you hiding that
I feel
you're
like you
reading
can
the
just
rule
read
book?
it publicly. I feel like
Yeah,
people won't care that much.
I don't know. So then Dean shows Andy the like trailer where the Henderson Racing Club is, whatever, and it's like super cool. And then Dean sees Farron, who's the owner's daughter. By the way, Farron's a cool name. I've never heard of the name Farron.
I think I've heard it, but only in like
Only in motocross.
no, not motocross. I was gonna say in like medieval stories.
It's pretty cool.
Farron's a good name.
Andy's like, oh, I like your perfume, Farron. It's like this specific perfume.
Yeah, name drops it, and she's like, Why do you know the name?" It's like, "Oh, my sister wears it, but it's
Haha.
better on you." Haha.
Haha. And Dean's like, holy shit, you know how to spit game.
It's like, wow, this guy drips hot fire. This guy's riz to the max.
He knows perfume names.
Oh my god.
Um,
I've never talked to a girl in my life.
so then Farron's dad comes in and he's like, Dean, why'd you bring the competition in here? What the heck?
The competitor here says he's not
He's
competition.
not competition. Don't worry about it.
Which in this current state, having only gotten last, reasonable.
Yeah, reasonable. Like, don't worry. He's not really competition. So then Andy leaves and Dean's like, wait, hold up, Andy. He's like, I want to go out with Farron so bad. Let's make a deal. I will train you if you can get me a date with Farron.
I don't think it's specifically get me a date. I think it's
Help me
like set
try
me
and
up.
get a date. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
work on this for me.
Yeah, like tell me what to do so that I can go out with Farron.
The deal that's in Hatching Pete, but actually going to be held to.
Yeah. And this is what happens when She's the Man. And the IMDb made me feel like that this doesn't happen in
Well, I
12th
feel
Night.
like dates were a much weirder concept in Shakespeare time.
So it is funny because that's like kind of beat for beat exactly what happens in She's the Man. So maybe She's the Man really did take a lot of inspiration from Motocross.
They're like, hey, we could repackage this, put Amanda Bynes in it,
and more
make
mature
money. Yeah.
content. Yeah.
Make it not kids friendly. Yeah. I could believe that. I don't think She's the Man is a bad movie.
I think She's the Man is better than this movie.
It also had a much higher budget.
Yeah.
And like went in theaters. It was trying harder. Maybe not, that's not right to say, but
genuinely like She's the Man. I think it's really funny and good. Okay, so Andy says, like, yeah, no thanks. I'm not gonna take your deal. So then Andy goes back to her mom, and the mom's like, that was a cute boy. And then Andy's like, did you get a hold of daddy? Why did you say daddy? Did you get a call from daddy? And the mom's like, yep, I finally heard from daddy, and he doesn't have a rider yet. And the mom did not tell the dad that the race started 2 weeks early and that they're there.
Yeah, just kept casually went, I didn't say it.
Oops, it slipped my mind. Haha.
Holding the truth is the same as not saying.
And the mom's like, you really loved what you were doing out here today, didn't you? And Andy's like, yeah, I did. I just really wish I didn't have to quit today. And the mom's like, you know, I used to sing in a band, but I had to quit. And I kind of wish I hadn't quit. So I don't want you to give up on your dreams. And I've read the rule books. We need to get you some points if you're going to qualify. So,
yeah,
boom.
It's like, it makes you sound like they're going to do some like sneaky stuff to get points, but no, they're just going to race.
No, I think she's just looking at the rules of like, is it possible if Andy starts doing better for her to qualify, basically? Mm-hmm. And she's like, we need to get you some points if you're going to have a chance.
And she's like, oh, I'm going to keep racing. Let me go run back to the Mr. Cute Boy.
Oh, yeah. So then Andy goes and tells Dean, like, okay, we have a deal. Training in exchange for a girlfriend.
Deal.
And
done.
They're like, all right, let's go right now. So then we have a training montage with sha-la-la-la,
all right, if we do keep that in the intro, Kelsey's into the. I mean, I'm into it. It's funny. They have a little training montage. The song's very stupid. It's just going sha la la la. Sha la la la. You were saying one of the IMDb pages, like reviews, is like everyone's going to be downloading these songs off Napster.
Napster.
And it's like, wow, everyone needs to hear sha la la la. Sha la la la. It just keeps doing that so forever. Stupid. It's pretty funny. And they're just doing motocross tricks and stuff.
Motocross, and then they go off course to train on the rough terrain. And I wrote, this is just like the new Bluey episode Cricket, where they have to train on the rough terrain. Heck yeah.
You just want to bring Bluey into everything.
Heck yeah.
Which is Bluey's pretty great.
We named our puppy Bingo because of Bluey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened.
It did happen. Also, Andy at one point goes, he is so cute. Like, out of earshot of Dean, but she thinks he's cute. Which, to be fair, he's pretty cute.
She's into him the whole time.
Yeah.
He's no Ryan Merriman, but...
So then they, like, pull up to a lake, and they, like, put their bikes right on the edge of the lake, which is just, I feel like, only shit that happens in movies. Like, if they wouldn't have put their wheels right
where they could go wash away.
It's very funny.
They go, let's go for a swim.
Yeah, so then Dean starts stripping.
Yep.
And he's like, let's go in the lake. Start taking your shirt off, Andy.
He says he has no game. I think he just doesn't realize how
gay?
good his game is. It's just straight. Like,
he's nervous around girls, but he has mad game with guys.
Yeah. Like, oh my god.
He's
And
like, start taking your shirt off, Andy. Like, oh my god.
Andy's like,
What?
no.
And then Dean's like, don't be such a girl. And Andy goes, you did not just call me a girl. And he goes, what are you gonna do about it? Like, it's so flirty.
It's so flirty, and it's so funny because character-wise, he's not flirting. But it's such like he feels like he's trying, but he is completely flabbergasted by the reveal later in the movie, so
Yeah.
he didn't believe it at all.
This is just like Mulan, where it's just like, wait, do I have feelings for this guy?
Oh, good, I'm
Oh,
not
good, I'm
gay.
not gay. Oh, thank God.
Motocrossed. Oh, good, I'm not gay.
And then Andy like tackles Dean into the lake. So she still has like all of her clothes on.
Yeah.
But Dean has his shirt off, so there's that. Okay. So then we cut to Jason is on the phone with his mom, and he's like, hey, you know how Andrew is good at racing? Well, he's equally bad at cooking.
And you just see him like lighting a fire on the
Yeah,
stove.
he's like, our spaghetti was crunchy.
Please come home. I'm scared. Andrew's trying his best.
Yeah. And then
I
at
want to
the
mention this now because I
oh,
wanted to mention it earlier. And I said Ryan Merriman earlier. Andrew looks like such a discount Ryan Merriman. It's kind of weird.
oh, Ryan Merriman would have been such a good
Like I don't
cast
think
for
the
this.
actor who played Andrew did a bad
No,
job.
he didn't. But like,
But Ryan
imagine if it was
Merriman is
Ryan
a
Merriman.
favorite of this show.
Hell yeah. Oh, he's so dreamy in this era too. What? Wait, when did like Ring of Endless Light come out?
I want to say like a year after this one. I don't actually know.
Because that's the Ryan Merriman I want in this movie is Ring of Endless Light.
We can
Ryan Merriman.
find that out.
2002. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
only a year later. Get me Ryan Merriman in the remake of Motocrossed. Okay. So then at the hotel, Andy runs into Farron, and they're talking about shopping. And Farron's like low key into Andy a little bit, but they don't actually explore this. That's she's the man plot for you. So Andy tries to like talk up Dean. Like, oh, why don't you go out with Dean? He's really cool. And Farron's like, no, he's not my type. He thinks way too much about motocrossing for my taste.
yeah. She's like, I want someone who's going to be dedicated to me. After Andy's like, don't you want someone who's dedicated to something?
Yeah, she's like, I want him dedicated to me.
Which, different strokes for different folks, but I'm with Andy in the fact that, like, I like when people are passionate.
Yeah.
That's attractive to me.
Okay, so then we're back at the tournament, and Andy is like trying to hide out from Dean.
It's like, I don't want to break his heart.
Yeah, like Farron's not into him. I don't want to break his heart, but then Dean comes up anyway. And Andy tells him that Farron isn't right for you, dude. She's looking for something different. And Dean's like, but I can change.
I can be a different person. She's so hot.
And Andy's like, you don't want to. Like, trust me, you don't want it. So Dean's really bummed out. And Andy's like, hey, if you don't want to like train me anymore, it's okay. But Dean's like, no, I'll still train you. Like, you have a lot of potential, which is so sweet of him to do.
It is. And it's also like, oh, I'm finding a friend that I'm romantically interested in,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to deal with these feelings.
Which, okay, jumping ahead later from Dean's perspective, he like makes a friend in Andy, and then is just like super into his sister.
Yeah.
It's just like weird. And he's like, please let me go out with your sister. Like, okay.
Well, I think it's just like, what, man? It would be so nice to just be able to date Andy. The sister's literally the same person.
Holy crap. What luck. Okay. So then we see Bob again trying to interview Andy, and it like still doesn't work. So like, why is he even here? I don't know. It's pointless. Okay, we're at a new race. Andy's doing better, and Dean is like watching and cheering from the crowd. And Andy finished in 7th place. They're like, hell yeah, 7th place. I did it. One training session with Dean, and she's already doing better.
Yeah. Well, I think part of that is she didn't actually need to be that much trained. She's good. But she needed more confidence as well.
Yeah.
And that helps with it. The fact that she now is getting to do it with her mom's like full support rather than her mom like reluctant support probably helps. There's a lot of different psychological factors that are going to be helping her here.
Yeah.
And we already knew from the beginning, like, Every character tells us she's good enough to be here.
Yeah, she must have just a shit ton of raw talent because there's no way she was able to practice that much because
Hmm.
her dad wasn't letting her. Like, it was only when they were gone did she get to practice. So she just must be actually really talented. Um, so then at the hotel, Andy runs into Dean, and Dean's still pretty bummed about like Farron, even though he won his race. He's like, but I can't stop thinking about Farron.
That's all I can think of.
And Andy's like, yeah, I know what it's like to want someone you can't have, but you can't focus on that.
Haha, you.
Hot lit. So then cut to the hotel room. The mom's there, and she's like, Andy, do you really want to see Dean and Farron get together? Because the mom's like, obviously you two are perfect for each other.
The mom is very perceptive on the fact that Andy absolutely has a crush on Dean.
Yeah. Well, Andy's like, I just want him to be happy. And the mom's like, oh man, you got it bad.
It's like, I don't care if I can't be with him. I want him to be happy because he's the best. They've known each other for like 3 days.
He's really nice.
He's really nice. Yeah, he's cool. I got
And
no
he's
issues with
cute.
him.
And then Andrew calls the hotel room to congratulate Andy on getting seventh place because he's a good brother.
Yep.
He's a good
And they're
supportive
like,
brother.
yo, that's sick. Seventh is pretty good.
Yeah, he's like, you're doing really good. And then Andy can't go to her NSYNC concert anymore because it's like that weekend. But she's like, oh wait, Andrew, can you send over the tickets? Because I have an idea. Um, Also the mom gets a package and it's like a jacket that says Carson Racing.
Yeah.
I was like, why didn't you have one of those already? But
It's
whatever.
like, and now we're part of the team. I thought it would be weird that I was the only one doing the racing.
Think what they're implying is that she go to the gate now? Because
Yeah.
in the final race, it's the
She
mom.
now like holds up a sign saying messages, which maybe that's a role in motocross.
Yeah.
Where you like, because she will write messages that will like tell you some strategy or something.
Yeah, and then in the final race, she's the one next to Andy, like pep talking her right
Yeah.
before the race. Which right before that, the dad's like, "Oh, let's not hurt the dream team," because it was going to be the dad that went and did that. But they were like, "No, let's have the mom do it because you guys have been doing so good together."
Yep.
So I think that's what she's doing is like, I'm gonna be your coach out on the track now.
Mhm.
Which they don't say that though. Like we were so confused in the moment, but now having seen the full movie, I think that's what it
makes
is.
a little more sense. It's still weird.
Yeah. Okay, so then there's more racing and Andy's doing better and better. And at one point the mom has a sign that says, "You go, girl." And then has to like erase it. Like, Mom, you know what we're trying to do here. Why'd you
It's
say
a nice
you
little
go,
gag. Like,
you
oh
go,
duh.
girl? And then Dean is also there being supportive and he's like, "Nice job, rookie." And then Andy talks to Dean, she's like, "I have a plan for you and Farron." So then they're at the hotel and they like come off the elevator and it's very clear they're doing a bit where Dean has NSYNC tickets and has no one to go with because Andy's
It's
like,
so obviously like, oh man, I hate NSYNC. Find someone else to go to the concert,
yeah,
Dean. You are so weird for liking NSYNC, very famous and popular boy band that every girl loves. Oh, hi, Farron.
"Hi, Farron, what are you doing here?" And Farron's like, "You're going to NSYNC?" And Andy's like, "Yeah, fifth row tickets, pretty amazing."
But also, like, I hate them.
But also, I hate them.
They probably cost a shit ton of money.
So Farron's like, "I'll go with you." And Dean's like, "Fuck yeah." Um, and Farron's like, "Let me go change to my concert clothes,"
Yeah, and
which she brought apparently.
she's like, I have to tell my dad he called me down here for something. But no, it turns out that was Andy just
Yeah.
making a prank call to get her down to the lobby.
Andy like somehow got a message to Farron like, "Hey, it's your dad. Come down to the lobby." Like, damn,
Baller shit,
Andy,
honestly.
baller. Like that was such
Andy's
a good fucking
killing it.
plan. Okay. So cut to more racing, and Andy wins her first race. Finally, which I'm glad it didn't happen right away because that would be unrealistic. Like it took her a few races
Yep.
to win.
And I believe that gives her third overall in this.
In that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then after the race, Dad is back.
He's there.
He's in person there.
Yeah. It's not like he
Um,
called and said, I'm coming back or anything. He just showed up.
Well, yeah. And he doesn't really say anything. He just says, "Pack up, we're going home."
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh
The
no."
mom's like, honey, it was my idea too. And dad's like, if we hurry, we'll miss the traffic. Like, he does not want to talk about it right now.
Nope.
He's like, we're going home right now. So we cut to Andy like crying while she's packing up her stuff, which fair, I'd be crying too.
And Steam comes like, "Hey, you got first. Good job." And she's like, "Thanks."
Thank you. And he's like, what's wrong? Hey, don't cry in front of the boys.
They'll make fun of you.
And Andy's like, yeah, thanks. Thanks for everything, Dean. And then he just kind of leaves, and that never really gets brought up again.
What if she kissed him?
What if they kissed right now?
Now, I feel like that would be such an interesting
Where
little
he's like, hey,
development.
what's wrong? And he like grabs her face, and then they kiss. And then she goes, I'm a girl.
I
I
forever.
Okay, so now they're back at home, and the dad's like, why would you do this, Andrea? I don't want you getting hurt.
Because you're a girl.
And Andrew comes in to defend Andy. He's like, hey, she podiumed at like a professional race, and that's awesome. And the dad's like, yeah, that's cool, but when they find out you're a girl, you're gonna be a laughing stock. And then dad goes down to the kitchen, and mom's like, I still think this was a good idea.
Mhm.
And, you have all these reasons why she shouldn't race, but she's actually really good.
She just won a
She
race.
won. And, like, if you're willing to risk Andrew getting hurt, then it should be the same for Andrea.
Aren't you being
Aren't
hypocritical?
you being sexist?
Well, she says hypocritical.
Well, yeah. Well, then dad asked Jason, like, do you think I'm being hypocritical? And Jason's like, if it's a good thing, then yes. If it's a bad thing, no.
Literally just doesn't know the meaning of the word hypocritical.
Yeah. Guess you don't learn everything in school. Just
women's rights.
women's rights. Okay. So then it's a new day, and Andy answers the door, and there's a guy, and he goes, bonjour, I am Renee.
And she just slams the door and goes, ugh,
Well, because
salespeople.
he kisses her hand
Yeah.
too. Yeah, she's like, we have enough Tupperware, thanks. And shuts the door. And then the dad goes and answers the door again and lets Renee in. And
Apparently
Renee,
didn't tell anyone, but he found a rider.
he did find a writer from France. His name is
He
Renee.
has a bad communication problem.
Oh
He
my
didn't
god, the
talk
dad's
about
the
coming
worst.
home. He didn't talk about having a rider. He didn't talk about leaving.
Yeah. He
Yes.
sucks.
He sucks.
So then Andy goes to her room, and Renee is on her bed, and he's like, I need a west facing room to sleep. And the dad's like, Andy, just like do it for me. And Andy's like, what the fuck? He's in my
Where does
room.
she sleep during this?
Good fucking question.
We don't get an answer to
I would
that.
be so pissed if he took my room, especially since she's like the one girl kid.
Yeah.
She needs her own space.
Yeah.
Like, go bunk with fucking Andrew. Like,
But he
what
needs
the
a
hell?
west facing room.
Oh my god. And the dad's just like, yep, we're gonna go along to it. Like, dude, you're really gonna give Renee everything he wants?
Because he's a boy.
Did you not fly him out to race for you? It sounds like the way he's acting is like Renee is doing him a favor. Even though it's the Carsons sponsoring him in this race.
Yeah.
Like, the dad is such an asshole. So then in the garage, Andy is like, hey, brothers, like, you know how Renee's name sounded familiar? Well, he was terminated for unsportsmanlike conduct.
5 times.
5 times. He like runs guys off track.
Basically, all he does is play dirty and win games.
And then Renee comes in with like a list of demands for fixing the bike and the
And
way
specifically
he
makes Andrew do it, despite the fact that every single person in the room agrees Jason's a better mechanic.
Yeah. And Renee's like, how about we stick with you, Andrew, because you can actually reach the foot pedal. And Jason like gestures to the foot pedal, like it's right here.
If this movie was bigger, this would be mean because it's just a good reaction image of just him going, what? Like, huh?
It's literally like a foot off the ground.
Just raises his hands like, they're right here. I'm touching the foot pedal.
Yeah. And Jason goes, do you think anyone in France actually misses him? No, good point, Jason. So then outside we see Andy like hugging her mom and thanks her for everything that she's done this past week. And the dad sees him through the window. And he's like, why don't I have a relationship with my kids? Fucking mystery.
Mm-hmm.
So then cut to a new day. Renee is training. Andrew is complaining that he's like over revving the bike, and then Renee blows the top off of it. So Renee comes over and tells Andrew to fix the bike, and Andrew's just annoyed. He's like, I have to keep fixing my bike because Renee fucking sucks. And then Renee goes inside where Andy is loading up some dishes. And Renee says, oh, I see you found where you're most useful in this family.
Literally says women belong in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Literally.
Literally. And he's like, Andy, it was amazing you actually believe that you could compete.
She literally won a race.
She literally won a race. And he's like, you're a fucking girl, so you suck. And then Andy sprays him with some water, but honestly, he deserved a real fucking punch to the balls. Like, this guy sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then in the garage, Andrew's talking to the dad, and he's like, Dad, how much do you even know about this guy? And the dad's like, hey, I know he has problems, but he's a good aggressive rider. And then dad leaves to go get some parts in town. And then now we're at dinner, and all the kids like skip out on dinner
They're all
because they
like,
fucking
we
hate
don't
Renee.
want to be with Renee.
Yeah, they're like, we fucking hate Renee, so we're skipping dinner. So then the brothers go and talk to Andy, and this is just another example of all three siblings just like getting along and being supportive of each other. They're like, Renee sucks. This is bullshit. Andy should be the one racing right now.
Literally all of them believe that.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're back in the tournament, where Renee is gonna race for the Carson Racing now. Andy sees Dean with Farron, and she's like, "Fuck, Andrew, you have to be you. I mean, you have to be me. I mean, you have to be me being you." Like, so she kind of like puts a helmet or whatever on him to kind of cover, so it's not like completely obvious that this is a different person. And then Dean comes over and they talk like, "Oh, hey, man, yeah." And then Dean gets to meet Andy as Andrea. Like, she's in her true form right now, you know?
And it's like, wait, there's two of you? Oh, yeah, I'm a twin.
Oh, yeah, this is my twin sister. And I swear there's like sparks, right?
It's like, oh my God, I can date Andy.
Literally, he's like, Dean keeps staring and is awestruck. I was like, wow, you guys
He's got his girlfriend next to him.
Literally, he's like, wow, you guys look so alike. It's just so clear that he wants to actually date the boy Andy that he knew.
Mm-hmm.
And now that it's like slightly more feminine, because just it's the same Andy, but without all the guy get up on, he's like, whoa, I want to date you. And Farron's like, let's go. So then we cut to a race, and Renee is being super aggressive, and he knocks another guy over, but he takes the win.
Yeah.
And people boo him.
People boo him. The family's like, yeah, that was kind of rude. But he wins. So he's doing a good job.
He's just an asshole.
Yeah.
Also, Andrew is mad that he keeps frying up the bikes. So he's winning, but he's also like destroying the bikes and being a dick. And then during an interview, Renee totally dismisses Andy Carson because they're like, well, Andy was doing pretty good. And Renee's like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm cool.
Yeah.
Meh. So then Andrea goes to talk to Dean.
Because
Flirt. And she's like, whoa, look at this bike. You should do this with her bike. And they're like, whoa.
A woman knows about bikes?
Holy crap. And he's like, it's just a nice change of pace. Because Andy's like, oh, I grew up around bikes. And he's like, yeah, so did my girlfriend, but she doesn't know the first thing about racing. And then the other guy that he's with is like, dude, why are you staring at her? And Dean's like, I feel like I know her.
Oh my God. She sounds so familiar.
Yeah. So then Andy goes to confront Renee since he was like in the Henderson trailer. And Andy's like, are you making some kind of deal with them? And Renee's like, no, I'm not. And then the dad comes up and he takes Renee's side.
Because of course he does. He's evil.
He's like, I totally trust Renee. Obviously, he's not doing some kind of sleazy deal with the Hendersons.
And also, you're a daughter. That means you're a woman. That means you're wrong.
That means you're wrong. Andy is like, he's a snake. And the dad's like, you need to go apologize to him.
Mm-hmm.
Which is such bullshit. Okay. So then the mom goes up to the dad and she's like, you're the one that always says that if it barks like a dog and it scratches like a dog, It probably has fleas like a dog.
Weird saying, but okay.
But I mean, it works. And she's like, that boy is one big spoiled puppy, if you ask me. And Jason's like, yeah, he sucks.
He literally walks into frame, says, I agree, and then walks out of frame. And it's funny to me.
It's so funny. Good for you, Jason.
Jason's great.
He is great.
He ended sexism.
He's no, was it
Leonard?
He's no Leonard, but he's close. So then the mom is like, I love you and I'll stand by you. Well, you're making a huge mistake.
Why does the wife stand by?
Because we can't have a marriage. Terrible. We can't have a divorce plot on top of this. We don't have enough time.
That's fair. This movie's naturally longish for a DCOM being over 90 minutes.
And then the dad goes, do you really want to get into this now? Like, yeah, I want to get into this now.
This is the only time to get into it.
Yeah. And then the mom goes, describe your daughter for me. And then he goes, she's beautiful. She's smart. She gets along with just about everybody. And the mom goes, she gets along with everybody.
Except Renee.
Ponder that for a minute.
Doesn't actually say except, but yeah.
But that's what we're supposed to infer is like, obviously there's something wrong with Renee if she has a problem with him when she gets along with everybody.
Yep. Which is not necessarily a good logical argument, in my opinion.
It's good enough for me.
But Renee sucks, so.
Yeah. So then cut to Andy arguing with Renee. Renee's like, your family is a joke. And then he pushes Andy.
Yeah, because Andy was told to go apologize, and that's what
she was trying to do. She was trying to apologize, and he was being a dick. And she's like, I'm just trying to look out for my family. And he's like, your family's a joke. And the dad sees this happening, and Renee's like, hey, I can't accept her apology. And the dad's like, well, that's okay because it's rescinded.
You're fired.
You're fucking fired. Like, fuck you, dude, you're fired.
He's like, fine, I wasn't going to race for you guys this next race anyways. Yeah. I have another deal.
I'm literally switching mid.
Which is so not realistic.
It's so bullshit.
It's so, like, blatantly corrupt in so many different ways. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is the tournament allowing this?
Because they love the drama. They feast on it. And
they're like, funny. Yeah, this racer can switch clubs.
Not only that,
in between races.
He's dating Farron.
That is true. He literally starts dating Farron. Farron's like, French guy? Bye, Dean. I'm here. I'm going out with French dude.
Dean semi broke up with Farron.
I'm pretty sure he says like she saw a French guy and just ditched me.
But
she didn't care.
No, I think he was like, I think we were done. We didn't really get along.
Yeah.
And also, your sister exists.
Also, I'm just super into Andrea now.
So the family decides to go back to Andy's racing. Yeah,
so Andy's like, I'm sorry, Dad, I was a jerk. And the dad says, no, you're just trying to help and you're doing a really great job. And then he says, when I pictured myself having kids, when me and your mom started trying for kids, I always wanted a girl.
Plot twist or lies, one of the two.
And Andy's like, what? You wanted a girl, but I would think with the racing, you'd want a boy. And he's like, no, you'd think that. But honestly,
I never wanted anyone to race.
Yeah, he's like, I never wanted my kids to get hurt racing. So if I had a girl, it wouldn't be a problem.
Because girls can't race.
Well, joke's on fucking him because he did have sons and then he forced them to financially support him by racing and quit his job. Like, what the hell? I don't really buy the dad's redemption.
It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. But, and then, and then Andy goes, and then me came along.
Yeah, she doesn't say, and then I came along.
And then me came along.
Silly.
And then the dad's like, I was just hoping you would be the one spared from all of the hurt. And Andy's like, but that's what makes winning so great. It's like the risk involved or something. I don't know. And then she apologizes for Andrew getting hurt. And she goes, I'm so sorry, Andrew got hurt. I wish it was me. And the dad says, don't say that. You're our only hope now. We need you to stay healthy. And then they hugged. So we know that he's supportive of Andy racing now.
Took long enough.
Yeah.
And also doesn't really feel earned, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. There's probably 10 minutes left of this movie, so we just need to go, So then Dad and Andy go up to Andrew. Andrew's packing the bike up and whatever. And they're like, it's time to unpack because Andy's racing. And they're like, yeah. But then Andrew goes, oh no, the bike isn't ready though. But
no, we can't do it in time because of reasons. And they're like, well, we lose. But they have Jason, who sets a new world record.
Yeah, and then Andy suits up. And they're like, Andrew, what are you gonna do now that Andy's ready to be you? And he's like, he has a hat, and he's like, I'm just gonna be another face in the crowd. Heck
Pin in
yeah.
that.
Put a pin in that. Um,
He's just gonna be like, I'm gonna just be in the crowd. No
yeah.
issue about it.
No one will recognize me. So then on the way to the race, Andy runs into Dean and he's like, this is the part where he's like, hey, so like, what's the deal with your sister? Is she like single? And Andy's like, you have a girlfriend? And he's like, no, Farron's like with the French dude.
They're together now. That just happened.
I really like your sister, which is like so bold to be like, hey, new friend, I want to date your sister
Maybe
really
this
bad.
is Shakespeare.
I don't know.
I don't know.
And then Andy's like, I'll think about it. Maybe we can make some kind of deal. So like just being flirty, like, oh my god, he wants to date me. But no time to think about that right now. I gotta
Now it's
race.
race time.
Yeah, so Renee is now racing for the Hendersons and is dating Farron, and Farron's like on his arm.
Being all romantic. I don't think
Yeah.
he's gonna dedicate his life to her like she's gonna want,
Probably not.
but whatever.
Whatever.
They don't get much of a scene after this.
We also see that all the other racers have the nail polish on. So haha, that gag came back.
Yep, because they're like, oh man, Andy's so good. Nail polish.
And then the announcers say it's a battle royal.
Yeah. It's just really funny to hear the terms battle royal because the term battle royale is so ubiquitous nowadays.
Yeah, it just sounds wrong.
It sounds wrong.
Battle royal. So then the race starts, and I literally like wrote no details because it's like, yeah, it's a race.
They're racing. It's going to be close. Guess who's in the two? It's Renee and Andy.
Yeah.
What?
And then Renee hits the dirt and Andy wins.
Yeah. There's like a point early on where Renee cuts off Andy and Andy's in the back, but then comes back.
Yeah.
And then the mom holds up a sign that says, Watch the last turn. So Andy hits the brakes to like deke out Renee, who is going to deck Andy over out of the course.
Yeah.
Making Renee fly off the course.
Yep. And then Andy wins.
Yep.
And the championship and the cup is theirs.
And media starts swarming around to interview because they won. Also, this whole thing's been like sponsored by ESPN and like other actual like media companies.
Yeah,
there's a lot of product placement in this film.
It's a big tournament. So Dean congratulates Annie, and they're all like congratulating whatever. And then Renee comes over and is like, "She's a girl. This is bullshit. She's a girl."
Disqualified.
And they're like, "What? And what do you mean?" And he's like, "Why don't you ask the real Andrew Carson? He's right behind you."
Yeah. Andrew's right there despite being a face in the crowd.
Andrew's like, "Oh, what?" Like, wearing a stupid hat. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, Andrew, you were supposed to be in the crowd. I get that you're excited that your sister won and it's amazing, but you're trying to keep this cover. And he's like, I have to go up. And so it's like, yeah, Andrew's literally right behind you. And he's like, oh, fuck.
And there's just this interviewer in the middle here just watching all this drama unfold. And they're like, oh my God, explain it. And they come clean about it.
Yeah, Andrew's like, no. But then Dad's like, it's okay, Andrew. Let's straighten this out. Which, yeah, you got to expect that Renee, who knows the secret.
He's going to come out about it.
Yeah. Okay, so then Andrew goes like, I'm Andrew Carson, and this is Andrea Carson. And Dean is immediately like, what the
Dean
fuck?
Is like, man. Which like, is fair. He's been lied to for a while.
Dean's like, you lied to me. I told you stuff. Which is so stupid because the stuff he told her was like, I like Farron. I like your sister, which is you. Like, that's pretty much it. It's like, I want to date this girl.
I told you racing tricks.
I told you racing tricks, and I told you that I like a girl. How dare you? So then the Henderson dad's like, she should be disqualified. And the mom with her little rule book goes, there's nothing in the rules that says she can't race.
There's no rule that says a dog can't play basketball.
It says girls can race. Well, it doesn't say they can't. And also she registered as Andy Carson, which is her name. So it's fine. By the way, since she won the race, the rest of the movie is 5 minutes. Yeah. So imagine all of this happening super fast. Yeah. Interviewer. Okay, so the mom's like, she registers Andy Carson, so it's fine. And interviewer's like, Works for me. So Andy, how does it feel being the first girl to ever win?
Interviewers just on top of this all just like, holding the hit mic up for whoever's talking for the drama, just like, okay, now I can actually ask my question. Hey, you won.
Literally, they get through the whole like controversy of is a girl allowed to race. They like just dispute that in one line of dialogue. It's like, oh, actually, nope, it's fine.
Then there's a brief like, but are they going to accept the fact that she was a deceiver and be the sponsor?
Yeah, is like, are they gonna actually sponsor her? And then we see fucking Bob Arness, who's Poof Point dad. They're like, are you gonna sponsor him? But then a woman comes up behind and she goes, I'll answer that. I'm the president. I'm Barbara Rollins, the senior vice president in charge of the racing. Like they had to bring the woman out, right? Because she's like, women's rights. She's like, and they're like, will Andy be a full factory sponsor racer even though she's a girl? And the woman's like, are you kidding? After everything this girl did, deceiving and racing with the boys and whatever, of course she's signing with us.
It's like pointlessly, like dramatically drawn out.
Yeah.
It's dumb. So we didn't put this person in our cast list, but this is Aloma Wright, who of course is let me find exactly who it is. Mildred Clemens on Private Practice, if you know who that is.
No.
She was on multiple episodes.
No.
She's a recurring role. She also was Maxine Landis on Days of Our Lives.
I do know who that is. Oh my god. Okay, I think I remember like seeing Maxine in Private Practice, so that makes sense. God, she's in
that was the plot twist I was tempting you with before we hit record.
Maxine was like a side character that just like worked in the hospital. She never had like a main plot or anything. That's amazing.
Yeah, I thought you would like to know that.
I would like to know that.
Another Days of Our Lives connection.
Hell yeah. Okay, so now we're in like final stretch here. Dean's feelings are still hurt, you know. Whatever. We cut back home in the garage. And the mom's like, good news, with our new sponsorship, we get to hire a 250 rider.
Yay.
And they're like, oh, cool, who are we going to hire? And the mom's like, oh, well, there's already a rider interested. It's Dean.
What?
He's
who
right outside.
Guessed?
Yeah, so he's right outside. He's like, heard you're looking for a 250 rider for next year. And Andy's like, you want to try out?
You gotta audition.
You gotta try out. We're not just going to hand it to you. And he's like, what? What do you mean? She's like, 12 laps. You beat me and you get the job. And then they ride and it freeze frames, and that's the end of the movie. That's the whole movie. So like we assume they're gonna date, and
they're gonna date,
and he's gonna join their racing squad.
Yeah.
So pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty fun.
Pretty cool, pretty fun.
Pretty fun. I can't ever imagine Andrew like getting the main racer role anymore now that Andy's fucking won the whole thing. She's their ace. She's their ace squad now.
Yeah, you can't really take a winner out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the dad has another sexist arc.
Or can they just both race, since apparently you can trade out racers all the time? I don't know the rules. Or will they be in different divisions? Or I don't know. I don't know how racing works. Anyway, that's motocross. The end. We liked it.
Yeah. So you say that the house really liked this movie, and our results do not show that.
What? What do you mean?
Our house put this at 79th. Oh, I put it at 71st initially, and you put it at 67th.
I have it higher.
All of those, though, aren't that insane. In my tier list initially, I had that like middle C tier. I would bump it up.
I have it like mid C tier. I think I would put it like low B.
This movie was what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
It's a sports movie with some stupidity, some genuinity, and some just fun.
Maybe it's forgettable, and we're just forgetting how forgettable it is.
Yeah, we'll forget stuff about it, but it was fun. I liked it.
I did like it.
It was a good time. Yeah, not too much else to talk about it.
No, that's kind of it. It's like, this is better than it has any right to be. So give it a chance. You might like it. Cool. Thanks for listening to our episode on Motocrossed. If you want to reach out to us, email the dcomduo@gmail.com. Or we have TikTok. Or YouTube.
Or Spotify. Or Apple Podcasts.
I don't think you can comment there.
You can try.
You can try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next week we are doing our second minisode because
Heck
this was our
yeah.
20th DCOM we reviewed for this podcast.
Hell yeah.
We're going to be recording this in advance, so if you have any questions for that minisode, I hope you already sent them in. But otherwise, yeah, like we're excited to talk about that. We'll be ranking the last 10 movies that we did.
With the first 10,
Yes.
we'll make one big list of 20
And probably
movies.
doing a couple more drafts because that was fun.
Yeah, or some kind of fun activity. We'll do something cool.
So if you want to do that, tune in. Otherwise, if you're just here for the movie recaps and reviews,
See
you
you
can
in 2
skip
weeks.
it. But it would be fun for you to be there.
Yeah.
And in 2 weeks, we're going to be doing a different movie.
Yeah. What do you think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be Tiger Cruise.
Oh, shit.
I think it's the 9/11 movie time.
Not 9/11. You had to mention it because it's an episode of the podcast, so you got to put in 9/11 somehow. I think it's going to be Go Figure.
Another sports movie.
Another
We'll have like
sports
3
movie.
sports movies in a row.
Hell yeah. There's a lot of sports ones.
Yeah.
All right, ready to spin the wheel? Do, what's it gonna be? It's Avalon High.
Avalon High.
Yeah, let's get a more recent one.
It's also not that good of one.
No, it's. I can't wait to talk about it because watching it for the first time was such an experience.
We were actually like kind of really having a good time, and then
Until the
every
end.
choice they made just made it worse.
I hated how like the
Which
explanation.
maybe now that we know the movie, we can enjoy it more.
I liked our version of it way better when we were watching it.
So if you want us to debate who King Arthur actually is, watch our Avalon High video.
Yeah, in 2
podcast.
weeks.
That's what it is.
Yeah, our
We do a
podcast. Yeah. Avalon High. Let's go.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Take care.
Scenes from our next episode.
Okay, but why can't she be Excalibur?
Excalibur. Her name's Allie, right?
Yeah.
Excalibur.
Oh yeah, because these friends are so clearly King's Arthur Court because they hate each other.
Wait
and
a
they're
minute.
cheating on each other.
Wait a minute. If Mason from Wizards of Waverly Place isn't King Arthur, then who the fuck is he?
He's just a random British
He's just
dude?
random knight on the round table?
No, he's nothing.
What the fuck?
Oh man, but he's so good at football though.
Wow.
And he's definitely American.
Yeah, he's not British. Cool.